Nnamdi Kanu's continued detention fuels unease among Igbo leaders and Biafra advocates. If you're just joining us, please subscribe to our channel for more updates. The news in detail. The ongoing detention of Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOP, continues to be a source of significant disquiet among Igbo religious figures and has reignited concerns within pro-Biafra movements. These developments coincide with comments from Igbo activist Ubochi Eke Oku, who clarified that he has not called for violence against Simon Ekpa, stating, "No human being should behave like God," while acknowledging the frustration stemming from Nigeria's treatment of the Igbo people. Oku cautioned against anger clouding judgment. He urged those leading the Biafra agitation to be receptive to diverse perspectives, asserting, "Many have observed that criminal elements have exploited the movement, purportedly acting under Mr. Ekpa's banner." Mr. Ekpa has offered little to no public condemnation of this action. Oku pointed to the destruction of market in Olu and the touching of commercial vehicles carrying valuable goods as examples of activities causing distress to Igbo citizens, questioning Mr. Ekpa's silence amidst such events. How can one claim to champion Biafra while remaining silent as Igbo land suffers? Let me be clear, my allegiance is to Igbo land, whether its progress lies in political evolution or a peaceful pursuit of Biafran aspirations. My commitment is solely to the advancement of our people. I will never endorse violence, regardless of the cause. If a peaceful path to Biafra exists, such as through referendum, I would support it. However, I will not condone the destruction of our homeland under the guise of liberation. Oku further emphasized the importance of respecting different viewpoints within Igbo community, stating, "Love for Igbo land is not measured by the volume of one's voice. True affection seeks to build, not destroy." Unfortunately, I have had to block thousands on my social media who resort to insult and accusation of betrayal simply because of differing opinions. He also criticized those who discourage Igbo youth from enlisting in the Nigerian military without considering the long-term implications. While expressing respect for Mr. Kanu, Oku noted that he has not also agreed within the Igbo's leader's method. He ultimately desire, he stated, is for a more peaceful and prosperous Igbo land. Meanwhile, a collective of clergy identifying as concerned Igbo ministers has attributed Nigeria's challenges to the foundational structure established by British colonial powers. In a joint statement by their President General Tony Uzo Anthony and Secretary General Apostle Tony Osuji, the clerics denounced the 1914 amalgamation of the Northern and Southern Protectorates. The ministers argued that the amalgamation, which included the colony of Lagos, was primarily motivated by British administrative and economic interests rather than the welfare of the indigenous population. These decisions, driven by administrative, convenience and economic efficiency under British colonial rule, laid the groundwork for Nigeria's complex socio-political landscape, they stated. They contended that the unification of disparate cultures, languages, and religions without the consent of the people created the deep-seated division that persisted today. The agitation for self-determination, spearheaded by Nnamdi Kanu through IPOP, highlights the reality that the Nigerian created in 1940 was not a union based on mutual agreement, but a colonial construct imposed by Lord Frederick Lugard without regard for the consequences. The clerics believe this historical imposition is a primary driver of the Biafra movement. IPOP itself continues to voice strong objection to the perceived marginalization of the Igbo people. The group has accused the Nigerian government of systematically excluding Igbos from prominent federal positions, including top roles within the security apparatus such as Chief of Defense Staff, Chief of Army Staff, Inspector General of Police, and the Director General of the Department of State Services. IPOP spokesman Ima Powerful also highlighted the absence of an Igbo National Security Advisor and alleged marginalization in key financial and economic institutions, including the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Nigerian National Population Commission (NNPC) Limited, as well as agencies like the Nigerian Customs Services. This consistent denial of appointment to Igbo reflects a deliberate pattern of ethnic bias and reinforces our demand for a separate nation where justice and equity will prevail, Mr. Powerful asserted. IPOP maintains that the Southeast region has faced continuous exclusion and neglect since the end of the Nigerian Civil War in 1970. Despite the declared policy of no victor, no vanquished, this unresolved grievance has been a central tenet of Nnamdi Kanu and IPOP's push for Biafran independence. The Nigerian government, however, considers IPOP a prescribed organization, accusing it of posing a threat to national security. IPOP insists its struggle is peaceful and grounded in the right to self-determination. The 2021 rearrest of Mr. Kanu has further intensified the polarization of opinions, with many in the Southeast viewing him as a symbol of resistance against marginalization and historical injustice. The ongoing activism of IPOP and the sentiments expressed by religious leaders underscore a broader feeling that the current structure of Nigeria is inherently unjust and unsustainable. These voices argue that lasting peace and unity can only be achieved when Nigeria confronts the structural inequality stemming from its colonial origins and ensures equity, fairness, and mutual respect for all ethnic groups. As Mr. Kanu's legal proceedings continue, they serve as a stark reminder of the unresolved issues surrounding Nigeria's national identity, with the colonial legacy remaining a contentious point more than a century after the amalgamation. For many in the Southeast, the question of Biafra remains a pressing and unanswered one. Prior to recent events, Nnamdi Kanu had voiced concern about a perceived leadership void within Igbo land, lamenting the lack of strong advocacy for the region's interests. These concerns were reportedly conveyed during a meeting with Ikenna Ellis Ezenikwe, the President General of the Igbo Community Association (ICA) in Abuja at the headquarters of the Department of State Services (DSS). Mr. Kanu has been in DSS custody since his controversial extradition from Kenya on June 27, 2021, facing amended charges related to treason and terrorism. In a statement released on Thursday, Mr. Ellis Ezenukwe detailed his interaction with Mr. Kanu, noting that the IPOP leader appeared to be in good health, had gained weight, and remained optimistic about his ongoing legal battle. Our discussion took place against the backdrop of growing political tension and the continued marginalization of Igbo. Mr. Kanu appeared healthier and more composed, affirming that he is taking his prescribed medication and maintaining a positive outlook despite his circumstances, the statement read. Mr. Ellis Ezenukwe reported that Mr. Kanu expressed particular dismay at what he described as a persistent leadership failure within the Igbo community, warning that this absence of strong representation has left the people without a significant voice during a critical period. He recalled how past freedom fighters such as Ralph Owazurike were abandoned by the very people they fought for. He stressed that history must not repeat itself and that the Igbo nation must rally behind its defenders, Mr. Ellis Ezenukwe stated. The IPOP leader also reiterated its long-standing demand for a referendum, asserting that his only offense was to call upon his people to assert their rights. Mr. Kanu reportedly expressed strong confidence in his legal team and voiced optimism about securing his release before the end of April. As our conversation concluded, I was deeply moved by his resilience. He remains unwavering in his belief that justice will prevail, Mr. Ellis Ezenukwe added. He also used the opportunity to appeal to President Bola Tinubu, urging him to uphold the democratic principles he once championed by facilitating Mr. Kanu's release. Mr. Ellis Ezenukwe called on President Tinubu to act in the spirit of justice and democracy, stating that Mr. Kanu's continued detention is an unjust that requires resolution and that his freedom would represent a significant step toward reconciliation and national unity. Please subscribe to our channel for more updates. See you on the next one. Thanks for watching.